I'm sure you remember that massive volcano that erupted. It was so sad. It took out Tonga, killed at least 3 people, little South Pacific country. And what's interesting is that the country is served by, a lot of people don't realize this, by an undersea cable. And this cable is about the size of a garden hose. So the volcano erupted, it took out their internet. And so Elon Musk gets on Twitter. Of course he does. And he says, hey, everyone, maybe I can send some Starlink satellites to Tonga so that this way they can have some internet access. Now, in case you don't know, SpaceX, Starlink, this is Elon Musk's company where he has this grand vision. It's actually a phenomenal idea to bring internet access to everyone around the globe. Instead of using cables, we're going to be using satellites. Okay, about 9 minutes later after he said that, Elon Musk tweeted out, could people from Tonga let us know if it's important for SpaceX to send over these Starlink terminals and give you internet access? Okay, Elon, just a little tip, they're offline. They can't let you know. And so I guess even billionaires have brain freezes from time to time. And did you think about this? That if you invested early in Tesla stock, well, you'd probably be a billionaire. And if you invested early in, say, Apple stock, maybe a billionaire, maybe a millionaire. But if you just invested $10 in any stock, in any product, maybe like the beginning of Campbell's Soup or anything like that, in 1890, well, you'd be dead. And we're really glad that you're not, because after all, it's Tech Refresh. I'm Kim Commando, and of course, we have our friends here every week. And first up, Ali Seligman. She's our amazing content queen. So, Ali, what do you have coming up for us today?
Well, everyone's favorite topic, taxes. And then, just to balance it out and give you something nice, I've got a way to make your Wi-Fi faster.
Oh, okay. So, we have the yin and the yang going on there. And then we have our bad boy battery guy, Ben Bradley. He's also our trusty news director. And in case you don't know, the reason why we say he's the bad boy battery guy is that, I don't know, I think he's probably the only one among us that has like 120 things connected to him at any given moment. So, Ben, how are you going to impress us today?
Well, I've got some news on how Apple is finally doing at least a little bit more to address that whole AirTag stalking issue. And later, don't miss the review on some audio sunglasses that have a little bit of a different flair than the competitors out there.
Ooh, now there's a big tease. Okay, and then we have our magnificent millennial Matthew Heffel. And Matt, how are you going to make us sound smarter when we're talking to our family members and friends?
So this week is going to be all about movies. There's been a lot of interesting stuff going on, from the Batman movie to changes to the new Doctor Strange movie, and the online chatter has just been out of this world.
But we always get started with the tech news because we want to tell you about all the important tech developments to keep you in the know. And just a quick reminder is that you can rate and review, follow, subscribe to this podcast. We actually got an email from some guy this past week, right, Al? I sent it to you. He's like, I'd love to give you guys a great 5-star review. I listen to you every week and I laugh while I'm mowing the lawn, which is what we want you to hear. And they said, but how do I give you a review? Allie, how do we tell these people to give them a review? Where do they need to go?
There are a few ways you can go to whatever podcast app you use. So if you use Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. If you happen to listen on commando.com, awesome. Go over to one of those sites and leave a review there.
See, really easy stuff. And just a quick reminder that Tech Refresh is brought to you this week by thecurrentnewsletter.com. Now, I know that you get all these email newsletters, but The Current is full of exclusive links, exclusive videos, nothing that you see anywhere else on the entire internet. Well, maybe not that, but not in the way that we present it to you. So, you can go to thecurrentnewsletter.com, but we actually made it easier for you. So you can just go to getthecurrent.com and getthecurrent.com and just do it. Just get the current. Go to getthecurrent.com. All right, we're going to start with my news. And it's about a 55-year-old woman. It's a tale where she had played the lottery, the Michigan lottery. And she went into her email spam folder because she was looking for maybe some email that she missed. And in her spam folder, she sees an email from the Michigan State Lottery that says, you won $3 million. And she's like, no, get out. That's just spam, right? No, the woman actually won $3 million. And the Michigan State Lottery sent her an email. And of course, it said lottery, so it went right into the spam folder. So I guess all of us are now thinking like,
Oh, geez.
dang, What did I not miss? I mean, exactly. Maybe I need to check the spam folder more
Yeah.
often. Okay, maybe you do.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
just keep in mind that lottery fraud is common here in the United States. They have more than 600,000 complaints of fraud from the FTC, and it's the third most common type of spam out there. They say generate a loss of about $60 million for consumers who fell for them. Okay, so I know that you're all thinking like, okay, maybe it won't be spam. So here's how she knew that it wasn't. It said that she won the lottery, and she said that she won $3 million, but she logged into her Michigan State lottery accounts. So if you just get an email that says, hey, you won millions of dollars in the lottery, and we need you to click here to claim your offer, to give $10, $50, or we'll split it with you, just know that that's probably a scam. There was also another recent lottery winner. It was the old woman in a shoe. Seriously, you know where she lives now? Beverly Hills. Get it? Beverly Hills? Oh, I know. That was really bad. Okay, so Ben, you're going to tell us what Apple is doing to fix that whole AirTag problem, right?
But yeah, I mean, first of all, I know you know just how great AirTags are. I mean,
Wonderful.
never lose your stuff again. Your keys, attach it to your luggage, your dog. I mean, there's so many things, but a lot of people are using them to stalk other people. So that's a problem. And I assume that's happened with Tile too, but because Apple brought these things mainstream, that's why the whole topic is becoming. Anyway, they haven't even been on the market for an entire year, and you have these scary stories about, people finding them in a bag or taped under the wheel well of their car, and you have reports of gangs putting AirTags on cars so they can high-end
Bad.
cars so they can go back and steal them later. It's crazy. So throughout all this time, Apple's been like, okay, well, how about we make them beep at certain random times if there's one nearby you, or we'll have your iPhone pop up a message that says there's one near you. But again, that's only for iPhones. If you have an Android, there's an app, but it's this whole other thing that it's manual. Well, they finally, and I don't know why it took this long, but they finally addressed the whole stalking issue with relevant updates to their existing personal safety user guide. And I don't even know if I was aware that this guide existed. Have you
I was
guys
going to
heard
say,
of
I've
it?
never heard of it.
No.
I've
No.
never
Yeah.
gotten a note, not even in my spam folder from Apple saying that there was a personal safety folder thingy that we should be following.
Well, it's this whole thing. It's a resource for people concerned about abuse or harassment or being stalked by Apple devices. And they just added new topics for AirTags, like what do you do if you see an item detected near you? You can make it play a sound and then find it and see if it's been reported stolen. It has guidance for Android users. Download this app, but you have to manually scan for AirTags. But yeah, the most interesting thing about this user guide, though, it's not a basic support page. It's interactive. It's searchable, like table of contents and everything. Makes it easier to find what you're looking for, even just searching keywords on Google.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but one more thing relating to AirTags. I don't know if you've heard this, but some activist says she used an AirTag to find a secret German intelligence agency.
Oh my gosh, I read that story. That is like the craziest thing. Okay, give us a real
Yeah.
quick snippet, like 30 seconds about
Oh,
it.
it's less than that because I don't even understand all. But she wanted to uncover this, camouflage government agency. So she mailed this AirTag to some address, and it was delivered to some other location that proved it's an agency no one knows about with hidden offices and this whole clandestine.
what?
In Germany.
it's- yeah.
Yes. It's like,
Wow.
ooh, wow. But, AirTags, that's a serious problem. I mean, we joke about it every once in a while, but it is a big problem, especially if you are a domestic violence victim and you're getting stalked, you have restraining orders on people, or even if you're just out at a bar. I mean, there was that model in New York. I mean, she
Right.
left a bar at 11:30 at night, and then she gets home and she's like, what is that? And somebody put an AirTag in her jacket. I mean, it's really frightening
Yeah.
stuff. So in case you're wondering about AirTags, and if you want to get all the step-by-steps on how to detect if you have one, well, where is that Android app? We've got everything for you over at commando.com. All right, Allie, you have an exciting topic.
Yeah,
Taxes.
We're gonna go from stalking to taxes. So we're starting with a bang here.
Yes.
Tax season is here. Here's a little, whatever the opposite of a fun fact is. Most years, the IRS starts out with about 1 million unprocessed refunds from the year before. This year, they're starting with 6 million unprocessed
Jeez.
refunds from last
God, I
year.
wonder if they're going to send me an email.
Yeah.
It
You
says,
won $3 million. dollars.
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Well, you can submit your return, and there are a few reasons you shouldn't wait to do it. First, a criminal can do it in your name before you get to it. And then if you wait long enough, they could have their entire refund, your refund, processed before you even notice or do anything. So really, once you file, then that alert comes in that like, hey, there's something wrong here. Why are there two tax returns?
Mm.
So that's one very good reason to do it quickly. The other is the faster you submit, the faster you get your return. And a couple ways to just make sure that you're going to get your tax return as fast as possible. File electronically. When you file online, if you have a computer, if you're able to do this, you should, because when you file electronically, a computer processes it, and that's way faster. If you file a paper version, a person has to process it, and as we all know, that's going to be much, much slower. Set up direct deposit to your bank account. You can do this in your tax software, or if someone does your taxes for you, have them do it. Again, this is faster than waiting for a check. I thought this was, again, a little like opposite of fun fact, right? It costs the IRS $1 to send out your return check or your refund check. It only costs 10 cents if they are just doing a direct deposit to you. So I don't know, do your civic duty, right?
Yeah.
And then one more thing, double check that you are submitting everything that you send. So say you make $62,000 and you put that you make 60, or you misreport a tax credit you got. All those things will flag the computer to say, hey, a person needs to review this. And that will add weeks or even months to the time it takes you to get your money back. And then one more note, if you take the earned income tax credit or a child tax credit, you actually shouldn't file yet. Because of fraud laws, those actually can't be paid out until mid-February. So you're better off just waiting until then. Let the first rush go through, and then you can submit your taxes. And then, of course, make sure you keep an eye on Commando.com. We're going to be talking all about the, scams and frauds and all the tricky things people are getting up to try to steal your money during tax season.
And then also cryptocurrency and your taxes, right?
Yes, indeed, which is a...
Yes, they found you. They want their share, don't they, Al?
Of course they do, yes.
And so if you have any cryptocurrency gains or losses, we've got some information about that over on the website as well. And, why was the seafood restaurant being investigated by the IRS? Yes. Anybody, why? A little fun fact for you. They were suspected of being a shell company and doing fishy business. Oh.
A 2 for
All right.
1.
That was. All right. So, Matt, you have to follow that up with what do you think is interesting in the news?
So, taxes are super interesting, and we're all very woo. But I think space might be a little more interesting than taxes. And so, as we've talked about recently, the James Webb Telescope, which is the replacement for the Hubble Space Telescope, just reached its final destination in space, which is about 1,000,000 miles away from Earth. It's called the L2 or the Lagrange point. And you might think, okay, well, where are the pictures? I want to see some pictures. These are going to be cool. Well, it's going to take about 5 months for us to see the first pictures from this because they still have to, make it look all nice and make sure that all of the mirrors and the telescope is lined up correctly. And so in about 5 months' time, we'll be seeing the first pictures from the James Webb Telescope.
It's going to be so cool.
I know.
I can't wait to see that. I mean, what
I'm
an
so
amazing
excited.
time we live in. Okay. Do any of you camp?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah.
Go camping? Okay. So we all know we have that vision in our mind of that classic Airstream, right? The silver Airstream that, and sales are like going like gangbusters for Airstream. So they've come out with a new electric version of the Airstream. Okay. And this caught my attention because I was like, wow, like I never thought like an Airstream should be an EV vehicle.
Mhm.
So honest goodness, they have this Florida RV show where Airstream like rolled it out, no pun intended, this EV Airstream. And they were demonstrating it. Okay, so just imagine. Okay, I'm not like an RV camper type of person because I really think like, Barry and I would totally kill ourselves. Like we were at the Barrett Jackson car auction the other day, and they have like these big RVs up. And so Barry's like, do you want to go in one? Let's just see what it looks like. Okay. So we go into this RV, honest to goodness. I mean, it had 2 bathrooms, a full master bedroom. It had a steam shower. Okay. And so I get out of this RV and I look at the guy and I said, so how much is that? And he said, oh, like the way it is equipped here? And I said, of course. And he said, $936,000. And I was
Oh.
like, wow. And I said, so how many miles per gallon does it get? Okay, about 7 or 8.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. That's it. Okay. But anyway, back to the Airstream because it was really cool to watch this video. I have to share the video with you guys because so you unhook your Airstream from your truck. Okay. And then you get on your phone and there's an app and you park it. You say like, go back like 3 feet, move to the right, move to the
What?
left. And yes, it's totally,
That's so
so
cool.
yeah, it was like so great because, again, me not being much of an RV camper, okay, never, but is that I thought that was like so slick that now you can program your Airstream right on your phone and then tell it to move left or right. And, you know, just amazing what technology is doing. I mean, and like just reminds me of something else. Like, what do you call a camper driving through frozen rain? What do you call a camper driving through frozen rain? Van Halen. Yes, the Van Halen.
One of
You
these
knew
days, I'm
that.
going to guess it.
I hope you do. You want to stay right where you are because coming up, we have some insider secrets and tips to make you sound smarter on Zoom calls, and we have some party tricks to impress your family members and friends. We got that and much more coming up here on Tech Refresh. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Hey, welcome back to Tech Refresh. It's your weekly fun podcast about all things digital, as I like to say. And just a quick reminder, we want you to make sure that you get everything that we do. And that includes the current newsletter, exclusive links, exclusive videos, and you get it all. It's for free, delivered to your inbox just twice a week, no ads. You're going to love it. Trust me. Okay. Just go to getthecurrent.com, getthecurrent.com. All right. So this is part of the podcast where we like to pass along some great tricks, some party tricks. And I actually set this up for Barry because Barry was like complaining that he couldn't read anything on his phone because then he had to go find his glasses, which, by the way, the man went to Walgreens. Okay, I think he bought every pair of readers that they sell because he came home with like 12 different pairs of readers. And I'm like, okay, we can't have like 1 or 2 pairs? And he's like, well, I need 1 for my car, 1 for the workbench, 1 for my ham radio, which, by the way, we had our friend Nicole over last night. And she's like, oh, so Barry, where are you going to put your hand radio at the new house? And I'm like,
Oh.
I looked at her, I'm like, Nicole, what? And she's like, the hand radio. I'm like, did you mean ham radio? And she's like, oh my God, all these years I thought it was hand radio. No, ham radio. Okay, so on your phone, there are these great little settings under accessibility. I know what you're thinking. I don't need accessibility. I'm fine. Everything's great in my world. No, accessibility. On your iPhone, it's called display and text size. And so this is really great because there are so many options. You can make the text bold, increase the intensity of it. You can reduce the transparency, work with contrast. And what's really fantastic is that if you've upgraded to iOS 15, there's now a widget to adjust lettering inside individual apps. We should write about this on the site, Al, because this is really slick. Because before it would like just take over your entire phone. But if you just want, say, your mail bigger or your text messages bigger, that now you can do this. So it's called the text size widget. And on Android, of course, you can do the same thing. It's under settings and accessibility. But there's also something else that I've used. Okay, it's called the magnifier. And I don't know why Apple doesn't put this like on the front page. I mean, because so I was sitting there, I was trying to find a part number. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, wait, I can see really good up close, but I can't read those little numbers. So you just fire up magnifier and you put your little phone on it and then you put it under the plus sign and you can see this number. It's like, oh my gosh, it's called magnifier. Have you ever used it?
Hmm. Oh yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
have not.
really great.
No,
It's
that sounds
my
awesome though.
parents use it a
you
lot.
should try it. Oh, thanks. That makes me feel great now.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, that was nice.
Sorry.
Okay, do your parents have one eye? Okay. Just saying. Ooh, ouch. Okay. All right. So magnifiers and accessibility. We're going to be writing more about that on the site because I think it's really some great tips there. And Ben, you're up next. You're up with an iPad as a second computer monitor. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this what got me thinking about this, and it really took me back. 'Cause I was thinking to myself, how long has it been since I worked any job using a single monitor? And it's been at least 15 years
Ooh.
since I've used a single one. I couldn't go back. Even, it's rarely that even two screen cut it. So, and that's what got me thinking. You've got more people, even now, you've got more people working from home than ever. And if you have the space, it's easy to add, a second screen. Monitors are cheap. Connect it to your TV for free, things like that. But if space is an issue, a lot of people don't know that you can connect your iPad as a second monitor. And that goes for both a Mac and a PC. Obviously, it's easier if you're using another Apple product. Without going into all the specs, there's this Apple feature called Sidecar that lets you connect your Mac, your iMac, your MacBook with your iPad wirelessly and use it as an extension of your existing screen.
Nice.
It works as advertised. It's great. Now, if your Mac or your iPad is a few years old, not compatible with Sidecar, or you have a PC, you'll need software like Splash Top Wired X Display. That's the name for one, or one that's simply called Duet, which I've used that one. You download this app on your computer, which is free. Then you download the same app on the iPad, but it's $10 there. But yeah, that's how
Where they
it is.
get
But it
you.
allows you, yeah. Then you can connect it to your computer via USB, use it as a second monitor. Works pretty well. You can even pay $20 a year on top of that for Duet Air, so you can connect wirelessly.
Ooh.
But at the very least, the Splash Top software that I mentioned, that works for both iPads and if you have a different kind of tablet, like an Android tablet, you can also use that app for that device to make it a second screen too. So really handy, great in a pinch.
Okay, so you just went through this whole thing, Ben, but you didn't tell anybody why they would even want a second screen. I mean, tell us some advantages. I mean, tell us how you use a second screen and how it makes people like easier, more productive.
Where do I even begin? I mean, second screens are, you're typing on one thing while you're monitoring something else, whether it's, analytics or whether it's Twitter updates where because I've got like all these columns set up for TweetDeck where various types of news and information comes in. So, there are so many things. You're working on one thing while next to you is the basis of whatever you're researching. So you don't have to, switch to a different tab or to a different window. There's so many things that's what slows you down. Having to switch. What was that link I was looking for? You have to go looking for it. No, I'm just going to glance to my right or above, and there's the information right there. It is such a time saver.
See, now I think two screens are really great, but now I have this like monster iMac, you know,
Hmm.
I don't really need two screens. So, I guess it depends upon your setup and if you really think, but having two screens, I know Allie, you use two screens. Matt, you use two
I
screens?
do.
And
Yeah.
it really does allow you to see a whole bunch of things all at once. And Ben, you should write this up on the website too, so that people have all the links to these downloads because it gets kind of like, what were they saying, and what was the name of that? And now, Allie, you're up next, and I guess you're going to tell us about a mistake that you made with your router. Oh, Allie.
Oh.
What a bummer, right? Okay, so I just upgraded from whatever the normal speed of my internet was to gigabit internet. So should be crazy fast, right? Well, it's gone up like 100 megabytes per second, which is pretty good, but it's nowhere near the 1,000 that I should be getting. And so I'm on this journey to start making my internet better in my house, fix my Wi Fi. And the first thing I need to start with is the placement of my router. Because it's on the ground in a closet, and that is bad.
Oh, Allie, I'm
Yeah.
so disappointed.
I'm disappointed in myself, Kim. And there are probably lots of people in a situation like this. Like maybe your router is in, one corner of your house, it's in a closet. And that's really because the technician who came in and set up the cables, they don't care about
Yeah,
how good your internet is. They're
they don't
just trying
care.
to get it set up and get out. So they're going to do whatever is most convenient. So start there, the placement. You want it somewhere central in your house. That is one nice thing. This closet is kind of right in the middle of my house, but it's a closet. You don't want it kind of, back in one corner. You want it in the area where you want your internet to be the strongest. Get it out in the open. Again, a closet is not great. Down on the floor is not great. Routers actually spread Wi-Fi down, so you want it to be higher up. You can mount it up high on the wall or put it on top of a high shelf, which is a good way to keep it out in the open. Keep it away from lots of other electronics or anything that's big and metal because that can interfere. The biggest offender is actually a microwave. It interferes with the signals that your router puts out, that same band. And so if you've got it next to one, it's not a good thing. And then finally, if you have one of those models that has the two antennas on it, you're probably like, does that actually change anything? Does it make a difference? It can actually make a little difference. And what you want to do is point one vertically and one horizontally. And that's your best bet.
And so where's your router now?
Oh, it's still there, Kim. It's
Oh,
still there.
God.
Yeah, I haven't moved again. This is going to be a whole thing because the cord comes in through the wall in the closet. I'm going to have to, I don't know, figure out
Where's
where
the
to put
router?
it.
Check behind the hamper.
So, yeah, right. So, at Ian's house, we needed to put in cable.
Mhm.
And so it's Cox cable. And so I don't know, the previous owners of this house, I guess they use satellite or something like that. And so we're like, no, 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 let's get Cox cable in because we're going to want to have the TV and all this other stuff. So we went out and I came back to the house. I think I went to Target to buy some stuff, like a hamper or something probably. And I came back to Ian's house and there was this bright orange cable that came out from the left side of the garage, went up above the garage door and went around the house. And I said to the technician, I said, what exactly is that orange cable? And he says, oh, that's the Cox cable to bring internet in the house. I said, could you make it any other color than bright orange? I mean, can we paint it? And then he looks at me and goes, well, you could put it in a PVC pipe. I said, you could have done a better job installing this. So now there's this bright orange cable that goes out all around the kid's garage door. I'm like,
Oh my
it has to be
gosh.
better than that. And listen, if you love these type of tips and this type of content, just want to make sure that you're getting our podcasts, our daily tech update and our daily digital life hack. And you can get them as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. Just search for Commando with a K. And hey, you may even listen to them and get them on your local radio station too, because they're heard on about 400 different radio stations as well. But because you're listening to podcasts, I know you like podcasts, so make sure that you get our daily digital life hack and our daily tech update. Again, just 1 minute each. All right, we have this fun game that we're playing now on Tech Refresh. And because there's just tons and tons of computer and trivia tech questions out there. And so, Matt, you are going to try to test our know-how this week. I understand about the computer mouse.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That is correct.
All right.
So when you think of computers, it automatically has a computer mouse with it. Unless you're thinking about computers from 1979, where you just had to type in code and they would do things. Well, a lot of people credit Apple with being one of the first companies to make it popular, as they were doing stuff with paint and all that kind of stuff. But the actual mouse goes back way farther than that, to 1964, if you can believe it.
Oh.
And
Wow.
and the first mouse was actually made by a man named Douglas Engelbart, who was kind of a pioneer on the whole genre of human technology interaction and how that stuff would work in the future. And he actually built the first prototype of a working mouse for his computer. And I'm going to ask you guys a question about what it was made out of. So what was the first computer mouse made out of? Was it made out of A, plastic? Was it made out of B, metal? Was it made out of C, silicone? Or D, wood?
Wood.
Okay.
I'm picking wood just because I hope so.
I'm going with wood as well.
It was made out of wood. Can you believe that? He
Ah,
chiseled it himself out of a block of wood and put electronics inside of it. So the first mouse looks like
What?
it's old and it was made out of wood.
a block of wood. That
Sorry,
was
Matt.
it.
That was just a total guess.
That was, you know what? That was great. I mean, because, we all think about the mouse, right? I mean, we all use it. We have one all day. I mean, even if you have a trackpad, a lot of folks have a mouse off to the side. And,
Yeah,
I was really sad to read that this guy who invented the computer mouse died. I don't know if you heard about this or if in your research, is that
I did.
the police were actually suspecting witchcraft because everyone that they spoke to put a cursor on him. Oh,
R.I.P. Doug.
I know. Sorry about that. All right. So, coming up right in just a few seconds here on Tech Refresh is that Matt is going to be back, where he's going to tell us what we need to know about what's truly happening on the internet. So that this way, when, people are saying things like Wordle, you're not like, Hurdle? No, that's not it. So that this way, you appear smart and like with the program when you're on those Zoom calls. So stay right where you are. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Hey, welcome back to Tech Your Fresh. It's your weekly fun podcast, as I like to say, about all things digital. We cover it all from A to Z. And Matthew Heffel is here because Matt is our dedicated internet scout. Because, Matt, I know that one of your New Year's resolutions was to not be on TikTok so much. And how are we doing with that?
So good. Definitely doing well. No problems there at all. Don't spend a gratuitous
Okay.
amount of time on TikTok or anything.
See, but now when you're on TikTok, you can say, sorry, honey,
I'm
I'm
working.
just doing research.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I
Sorry.
have to be with the program for
Yeah.
Tech Refresh. I mean, I can't be like Joe Loser. So, Matt, what are people talking about on the web?
So, if you haven't heard the song, then you must be hiding under some kind of rock. But the song, we don't talk about Bruno from the hit Disney movie Encanto is enormous smash hit right now. It has
Can
become
you sing it for us?
okay. So it's like we don't talk about Bruno, no. You haven't heard this before?
No,
Ugh,
That
I'm,
was
I'm not
actually,
cool.
ugh.
actually, your voice was
No.
actually pretty good. Maybe we
Hey.
got another
that was
gig for
nice.
you here. Let's hear it one more time. One more time.
We don't talk about Bruno, no. That's all I got.
Yes. Okay, so we are talking about Bruno. So what's the internet saying?
So it is now the number 2 Disney song of all time. It has beat out
Whoa.
Frozen's Let It Go. It has
No
beat out
way.
all of the Lion King movies, all the Lion King
Really?
songs. It is
What?
only behind A Whole New World, and it's sneaking up to it where it's going to be the most popular Disney song of all time. It's been on the Billboard charts
Wow.
for weeks now, and it's right now at the number 2 position. It is only the second song of all time to get into one of those top 2 positions with A Whole New World, and it's about to surpass it and become the most popular Disney song of all time.
Wow.
So I guess this is something that all of us need to listen to. Okay, so
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's our
I mean,
homework.
There's you go.
because I'm still living in like let it go, and I'm like, gosh, let it go already. I'm so tired of that thing, right? Gosh, crazy. All right, now Doctor Strange show.
Yes.
What?
So the new Doctor Strange movie is coming out here in May, but the internet kind of found out that the director is doing reshoots again. So back in November, when the last Spider-Man movie came out, while they were doing testing for the Spider-Man movie, they started doing reshoots for the Doctor Strange movie. And they think, and people are supposing online, that it's because of the success of all the different characters that were added into the Spider-Man movie. So now they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we got to redo it and add all these characters into this movie so that we can get all the money and continue this trend. So they did that in November, and then just recently, in the last few weeks, they announced that they were reshooting more of the movie. So he says it's still
Oh.
going to come out on the same release date in May, but it might change now. People are skeptical.
Those
Well, you
poor
were
video
talking.
I
editors.
know.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
that's true. Yeah, right. So, but Matt, you're talking about like a lot of movies because
Yeah.
you also are going to be talking about like, so is like everything just movie oriented that's happening online now?
So I think that with all the craziness in the world going on currently, I mean, Ukraine, COVID, all that stuff going on, I think people are like, well, let's just go watch movies. So, I think that's why the internet is focusing on entertainment and movies this week, because it's the good stuff you want to focus on.
And then Batman has an online scavenger hunt.
So, in the Batman trailer, at the very, very end, when it shows the release date and has the title, The Batman, at the bottom, there's this little line of text that's in a really strange language that's not English, it's not any known, like, human languages. And it turns out it's a cipher. And if you actually go
Ooh.
and the internet was able to figure out what the cipher actually meant, and it spelled out "You are El Rata Alada," which basically means you are a flying bat. And so if you
Oh,
type elrataalada.com, then that takes you to a creepy site that has more puzzles. It has the whole Riddler logo from the Riddler from Batman, and it's the Riddler asking you questions, and you have to like solve all these cryptic codes and stuff to get more information, to get like special drawings created by people that were doing the movie and stuff like that. So it's really, really interesting, and people
That's
have been going
cool.
crazy about it for the last few
that
months.
is great. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would like to try that myself. I mean, now that I'm figuring out Wordle, are you guys all playing Wordle?
Hey, I got it in 3
Yeah.
today.
Mhm.
What's up?
I had
Ooh,
I had I had 2
5.
yesterday.
Hey.
5. Oh.
Today
How
was
about
my
you?
worst day. I was a little unfocused and I didn't get it today.
Oh
And
no.
I'm embarrassed about that, but
Oh, okay. I haven't
can't
done
win
it
them all.
yet. I haven't tried because I've been a little bit busy this morning. I mean, unlike you people, I have a job. I have a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'll have to try it later on. And have they ever talked about on the internet when Batman forgets to pay his electric bill? Have they ever talked about that? It's just it turns into a dark night. Yes, it does.
Oh.
Um, so Allie, what's trending over at commando.com?
Oh, if you have ever used the app Plaid, it's basically a financial app that connects your bank account to other financial services like Venmo or Robinhood. If you've used it, go to our site because there is a class action lawsuit and you might be entitled to a little bit of money because Plaid did some tricky things with data privacy. All right, a true or false, you need to submit a selfie with your taxes. The answer is kind of. It's a little complicated, so go read the article and find out everything you need to know about taxes and facial recognition this year. We've got easy ways to connect your smartphone to your TV. And then last up, one for Android, one for iPhone. For Android users, there is a quick change that you should make to keep your phone more secure. And for iPhone users, sadly, a pretty handy iPhone feature is gone, and Apple says it is never coming back.
Ooh, boy, there's
No
a big
spoilers.
tease right there. Makes me
Right?
even want to go to commando.com. It's like, what the heck was that? Hey, listen, if you're not following us on social, just get to it already. I mean, don't be ghosting me and ghosting us. Just over to twitter.com/KimCommando and you want to follow. Same thing over at Pinterest, at Facebook, and LinkedIn and Instagram. Just go ahead and hit that big old follow button and tell your family members and friends too. All right, stay right where you are because coming up here on Tech Refresh, Bad Boy Battery Ben is back. Yes, how many B's can we put in one sentence? And this time he's back with some sunglasses that are actually speakers built in. Pretty cool tech, so you don't want to miss that. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Hey, welcome back to Tech Refresh. It's your weekly fun podcast about everything digital. So Ben is not only our trusty news director, Allie and Matt, how would you describe Ben on a technical acumen in just one word? Allie, you go first.
Thorough.
Thorough, yes.
Mhm.
What do you think, Matthew?
Excessive?
I do. I like that word, thorough but
Both accurate.
excessive. There you go. And so you looked at some Bluetooth sunglasses. Tell us about them, Ben.
Yeah, I actually left them in the other room. I was going to show you guys, but now you're just going to have to imagine them like all the listeners. So you hear about smart glasses, and most people kind of freak out, like cameras and microphones, and what happens to my privacy. Well, a lot of people don't know is that before that, kind of around after Google Glass, you've had these companies like Bose and Razer and a couple others develop basically audio sunglasses. So they look like regular sunglasses, but they've got speakers built into the temples, the arms, and solves your problem of not losing your sunglasses and or wireless earbuds when you're out on the
We're
go.
losing both.
Now, but
So
before you talk about them, Ben, does everybody hear the music around you?
yes, yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Not if you're outside. I mean, I guess if you're walking down the street, they're not going to. But yeah, if you're sitting in a relatively quiet room, even if 10 feet away, somebody's going to know you're listening to something, especially if they're trying to talk to you.
Well, because
Uh-huh.
I gave a pair of these to Ian for Christmas because he likes to walk his neighborhood a lot,
Mhm.
and he puts in those earbuds, and so do I. But of course, I'm the mother, so I'm more cognizant. Okay, but I thought, you know what, but you can't really hear anything when you have your AirPods in, even under transparency mode. It's still
Mhm.
pretty
Mm.
tight there. So I thought, like, wow. I mean, so I'll give him these Bose glasses, and then and so I give it to him. He looked at me like, I guess Santa was not thinking. I mean, why would I even want these? I mean, he didn't say it like that, but that was the look on his face. He like looked at the box, and I said, "You don't really want them, do you?" And he's like, not really. You can keep them." I'm like, "Okay," because he likes his AirPods.
Yeah.
So which
Yeah.
ones did you look at?
I like the AirPods too, but no, I got to try out I guess the latest in the field of audio sunglasses called the Soundcore frames. Uh, Came out in November, so pretty new, but they look, depending on which one you get, they look like regular sunglasses, like, like an old pair of Ray-Bans or something. But you've got two speakers built into each temple and dual microphones, so you can also use it for voice calls. Control them with touch, like you know, swipe the temple to skip a song or turn up the volume. Um, Responds to voice commands. You can customize the EQ through an app, and they last a little over 5 hours on a charge. One of the things about Bose that I don't like, I've seen these before, it's like you get to pick from like two different styles. What's different about these is that you pick your initial frames and the speakers and you get the set for $200. If a couple months go by, you're tired of it, well, they make 10 different styles of frames that you can just swap out, and they're
Nice.
$50 each. So you
Cool.
don't
It's
have to
not
buy
bad.
like a whole new set of glasses again. So the whole thing, they work. The $200 price range is close to the similar options. Bose cost $250 retail price. The Razer versions are $200. But those, like I said, you're not limited to just the one style choice with these. You can even get with one of the sets, you can even swap them out with prescription lenses.
Oh, that's smart. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and since they don't cover your ears, you can still hear things around you. So that's good if you're wearing these like out on a walk around traffic, you know. But that's also double edged because, like I said, you're in the quiet place. People are going to hear,
Don't
even
be
in low
that guy.
volume. Yeah, it's like, what is that?
I
And
mean,
so don't think of
they
them.
look at you and they get like, Ben, he never really hit me as like a Celine Dion fan. I mean, my heart
know,
goes
His heart will
sometimes
on.
go on.
Yes.
When the music just grabs you, I mean, you just let it take hold. You can't stop it. But
Are they
so
heavy?
no, not really. I mean, I
Hmm.
think yes, the first time you put them on, I think you notice it like, okay, it's a little heavier than
Yeah.
cheap pair of sunglasses you pick up, but no, there's like you keep them on for even like an hour, and you don't notice any like, oh, this is just uncomfortable. So no, nothing
Okay.
like that. Pretty easy to charge, but again, just don't think of them as replacement headphones or earphones because they're not. They're just a different way to listen to music, or you know, uh, awkwardly and annoyingly take phone calls when you're sitting in a crowded room. So.
I will
But
say one nice thing about, people are used to earpods or AirPods now and, earbuds. And so if you're just kind of talking to yourself, no one is really going to look at you twice. They're just like, oh, yeah, she's got headphones in, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I know, but when they first came out, I'll never forget. I was like at Safeway or AJ's or something like that. And I was like, looking, I was like, at the butcher counter. And I hear this guy saying, well, that's a nice piece of meat right there. And I'm like, I beg your pardon. But then he's like, and he pointed to his ear. I'm like, oh, sorry, really embarrassed by that. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So back to your sunglasses. How many bed heads are we giving these things?
just because I don't find just like a huge need for them, they get three. I mean, not to
Okay.
say, I mean, they work, they're nice, but I just without serving so much of a larger purpose, I'm going 3 out of 5. Spend $200. It's like, okay, this is making it convenient to put two devices into one.
Mhm.
So they're not going to be like a home run. This isn't something like that everybody is going to say, I really want those. I don't think everybody really wants those. And I wish I could take the ones back. But see, well, I got Ian's on credit card rewards. So it's like,
So you're stuck with them.
I know. And I'm like, and they're sitting on my desk at home, like, okay, who needs these as like a really good present? Who can
Mm.
I give these to? Because I don't really need them. Ben, you're going to have the whole review over at commando.com.
Yep, it's up right now.
All right. So now we always like to leave on a happy note. And this is where I scour the internet for like a really great joke. Okay. So it's kind of a long one, so you have to pay attention. And it's a text exchange between two neighbors. Okay. Guy texts, hey, George, it's Richard. I'm your next door neighbor, and I have a confession to make. I've been riddled with guilt for a few months, and I've been trying to get up the courage to tell you face to face, but I can't. So that's why I'm going to send you a text message. But I can't live with myself a minute longer knowing this. And the truth is, when you're not around, I've been sharing your wife day and night, probably much more than you. I haven't been getting it at home recently, and I know that's no excuse. The temptation was just too great. I can't live with the guilt, and I hope that you'll accept my sincere apology, and I hope you will forgive me. The neighbor's response, George, I don't know what to do. That's all he says. But he was feeling enraged and betrayed. He grabbed his gun and he went next door and he shot his neighbor dead. He returned home. He poured himself a stiff drink and sat down on the sofa. And he looked at his phone and he realized there was a second message from his neighbor that said, hi, George. It's Richard here again. Oh, wow. So sorry. Siri didn't really get everything that I was saying in the text message. And I just want to make sure that you know that Siri changed Wi Fi to wife. Technology, it'll be the death of us all. Yes.
Oh man.
Mm,
Oh.
Sorry about that. Just a quick reminder that Tech Refresh is always brought to you by thecurrentnewsletter.com. And we'd love to get a sponsor, but we need more listeners. So, what that means is that you need to tell your family members and friends about Tech Refresh because all of us give it one word. What would you say about Tech Refresh? One word, Allie. How would you describe this podcast?
Fun.
How about
Oh,
you,
my
Matt?
word.
How about you, Matt?
Insightful.
Insightful. And how
Ooh.
about you, Ben? One word.
Thoughtful.
Thoughtful.
Ooh.
Okay. And so, don't you want to share this with your family members and friends? And so, wherever you get your podcast, there's always a share button. So, that's what we want you to do. Hit that share button. Tell more people about Tech Refresh because, maybe then we won't have to like pitch our own products to you. We will actually get paid for doing this. I mean, it's a labor of love and we don't mind doing it. But, Allie has to do her hair. Ben has to shave. And Matt
It's a
has to
lot of
like use
work.
that hair gel. So come on, let's just get it all done. So again, share out the podcast. Thanks for listening. If you ever want to send us a note, You can do that by sending us a happy email over at podcast@commando.com. And thanks for joining us.